Prosecutors have released video of the suspect crashing through the Deer Park nail salon after he almost hit several pedestrians in a nearby parking lot. You're watching Newsday TV. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Boofer. The crash itself was also caught on camera. Sherry Einhorn has the story.
New video released today of alleged drunk driver Stephen Schwally. Prosecutors say it shows the 64-year-old driving 78 miles an hour, his car going up into the air and then through the glass front of the Hawaii Nail and Spa. 3 employees were killed, including the owner of the Deer Park salon. 1 customer, an off-duty NYPD officer, was also killed. Several of those who were injured were in court today, but didn't speak to reporters. This man told me he was there the day it happened.
Many first responders, ambulance, firemen, police. The whole block was completely blocked off.
Schwally pleaded not guilty to 38 counts, including second-degree murder. Prosecutors say his blood alcohol was 0.17, more than twice the legal limit.
Originally, we were told that he told police that he had consumed 18 cans of beer the day before the crash. It turns out that wasn't the case. Investigators went to the hotel where he was staying, the motel in Comac, couldn't find anything, any beer.
In court, prosecutors described Schwally as a frequent customer of the liquor store immediately next to the nail salon, saying he had been coming in almost daily, sometimes twice a day, buying the same thing every time. 2 bottles of Montebello Long Island iced tea. According to this video from the Suffolk DA's office, Schwally bought alcohol the morning of the crash, then drove his Chevy Traverse around the area for several hours. 2 empty bottles and 1 full were found in his vehicle. Prosecutors say Schwally never asked if anyone was injured during the crash or how they were doing.
It's not about this defendant. What it is it's about these victims, attaining justice for those victims, but moreover, it's about raising awareness of what is happening on our roads.
Schwally is being held without bail and is due back in court at the end of the month. In Riverhead, I'm Sherry Einhorn for Newsday TV.
Now for the latest on this story, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. 2 teenagers were killed in a car crash on the Southern State Parkway. Police found the overturned Toyota Prius at about 2 this morning. Now, the driver, 18-year-old Oliver Charles, and one of his passengers, Diamond Saunders, were killed. 3 other passengers were taken to the hospital. And police are asking anyone with info on this crash to call 631-756-3300. And 2 NYPD officers have been shot after they broke up an armed robbery in Manhattan. Police say they have a suspect in custody. Both officers were taken to the hospital in stable condition. It happened this afternoon on Canal Street in Chinatown. And the community is calling for a health study after chemical drums were found buried at a local park. Virginia Huey has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
I was angry.
For Jessica Ostrowski, the sight of workers in full hazmat suits unearthing 22 chemical drums beneath the former Grumman Aerospace dumping grounds was unnerving. The discovery on the site now known as Bethpage Community Park stirred up decades-old suspicions about the toll she believes living in the neighborhood may have taken.
Every birthday and Mother's Day since I spent in the cemetery.
Ostrowski lost her mother Barbara to cancer at age 49 in 2002. She says 2 other women living directly next to her on Jacqueline Street also died of cancer.
And it was all around the same time, so it was boom, boom, boom. So at that point, you scratch your head and say, what's a coincidence and what's going on?
Ostrowski is among former and current Bethpage residents, along with several local lawmakers, now demanding answers. They're calling on the State Department of Health to conduct a new comprehensive study of cancer and other illnesses in the area where Grumman's historic disposal of toxic waste polluted soil and groundwater.
So we know the water is tested, we know that the site is tested, but our confidence has been shaken. So we need to find out whether or not people really are going to be safe for the long term.
The concrete encased drums discovered this spring contained numerous cancer-causing metals and compounds that Grumman had used in its manufacturing. Environmental regulators said there's no evidence the drums contributed to the already well-established contamination of Bethpage by the same materials. Newsday investigative reporter Paula Rocco, who has been covering the story for 6 years, says many residents who've lost loved ones to cancer are not convinced.
In 2013, they only studied a 19-20 block area right by the park where there were some soil vapors of chemicals that kind of seeped into below people's homes, and they said that there was no evidence that there were any unusual rates of cancer in that area, and that disappointed and angered people back then because they said, well, they didn't really look hard enough.
Among the chorus of critics, Town of Oyster Bay Supervisor Joseph Saladino. He told Newsday, quote, the continued discovery of growing contaminants in the ground, along with the growing plume, warrant an updated and in-depth health study.
This is my sister, Cindy.
Christine Fischetti agrees. She lost her sister, Cindy, at age 4 to a brain tumor in 1961. Fischetti and her sister lived on Sycamore Avenue, not far from the land where chemicals were dumped and drums buried.
When I read about the drums that were encased in the cement that was buried on the property, then I really, they must have known something was not right or hazardous.
The State Health Department says there are no plans to launch a new health study. This, as a second contractor is currently scanning the soil beneath Bethpage Community Park for more drums. A State Health Department spokesperson said, quote, when and where community concerns are raised, the Department of Health's role is to evaluate whether there are or have been exposures that may have affected public health and to provide a transparent report with an explanation of previous and current health risks. This role has been carried out.
More should have been done.
Ostrowski and other Bethpage residents who've lost loved ones to cancer say the state's position is short-sighted.
Nothing's bringing these people back, but what we could do is save the future.
Newsday reached out to Northrop Grumman for comment, but we have not heard back. For Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Huey.
Now, to read more about this story, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. An excitement is building for this year's International Film Festival. Rafer Guzman has a preview.
The Hamptons International Film Festival is on its way with 2 movies shot right here on Long Island. The first is Martha, a documentary on Martha Stewart. The lifestyle icon turns 82 in August, and here she sits down for what's being called a series of candid interviews. Some of the film was shot in the Hamptons, where Stewart owned a home for 30 years. The director is R.J. Cutler, who's made documentaries on John Belushi, Billie Eilish, and even Dick Cheney. Also playing is Christmas Eve in Miller's Point, a seasonal comedy drama with an interesting cast. There's Michael Cera, Francesca Scorsese, daughter of Martin Scorsese, and Sawyer Spielberg, son of Steven Spielberg. Behind this movie are 2 less famous names from Smithtown, director Tyler Taormina and his co-writer Eric Berger. They based their characters on family members and friends and shot the film last year in their hometown. It's the rare Long Island production to have its world premiere at the Cannes Film Festival. The 32nd Hamptons International Film Festival runs October 4 through 14, a few days longer than usual. Organizers haven't announced the full lineup yet, but you can find information on these films and others at hamptonsfilmfest.org. Advance passes and packages go on sale September 4th. I'm Rafer Guzman for Newsday TV.
Now, to read more about the Hamptons Film Festival, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Day 6 of the Paris Olympics has come to a close. Simone Biles became the oldest woman to win gold in women's all-around gymnastics. The U.S. men's rowing team also made history, becoming the first gold medal for the team since 1960. Now let's take a look at the medal count, shall we? United States is still at the top with a total of 37 medals, followed by France, China, and Great Britain.
What's Up on Long Island is brought to you by EastEndGetaway.com. end up here.
All right, here's what's up on Long Island.
Wheels up when I'm off the ground. I'm nowhere, but I'm all around.
Imagine Dragons on Long Island. The Rockers take the stage Friday night at the Northwell Health at Jones Beach Theater in Wantagh. Or create a vessel out of cardboard and see how far you can take it down the Peconic River. Of course, the Riverhead Cardboard Boat Race is on Saturday. There's the old-time baseball tournament, too. 10 teams from across the country play by the rules in the setting of the 19th century village. It's Saturday and Sunday in Old Bethpage. For admission info and more events, click Get More below the NewsdayTV video box. And now let's take a look at your Long Island weather and see if this heat will stick around, because it was a scorcher outside today. You see, tomorrow we have temps in the high 80s yet again. It's going to cool off tonight, though, temps in the mid-70s. But as you can see, tomorrow ends with some rain, and we'll have mostly cloudy skies before then. The 7-day forecast looks like a washout for the weekend, and it'll dry up just for Monday before we get more wet weather next week.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Sun Nation Energy, helping Long Islanders save on their energy bills for over 20 years.
You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Buffa. Thank you so much for joining us.